pot walls, weed filler, doobie bats. Let's face it, the supply of lame names we could give to this brand new hemp-based insulation is endless. The truth is, hemp insulation is a real and wonderful thing, and it's coming to a home near you. We've got the scoop on everything you need to know about this brand new product that is making a big splash with curious homeowners and builders. In this video, we're gonna dive into the real pros and cons of hemp wool batt insulation and throw some details on just how it has the power to impact your health, your pocketbook, and also the planet. Plus, I had the opportunity to spend some hands-on time with this insulation for a new home theater project. So I'll also be chatting about installation and real-world experience of using this unique insulation in your home. Now, before we dive in, throw us a like and hit that subscribe button to get more sustainable home improvement videos just like this one. Now let's do this thing. Hemp wool batt insulation is a natural plant-based insulation material made from hemp fibers. Specifically, the inner layer of hemp plants, which is called the hurd, is what is used to create hemp batts by intertwining these fibers and mixing them with a binder. The batts we're looking at today are 92% hemp and 8% textile polyester fiber. The result is a dense, bouncy, and tough batt with an impressive friction fit. And as you'll come to realize, this is an insulation material worth considering because, well, it checks almost all of the boxes in a big way. Hemp wool comes in a few common batt insulation sizes to fit both 2x4 and 2x6 wall assemblies with either 16 or 24 inches on center. Likely the biggest benefits of hemp wool batts simply comes down to how they're made and their impact on the planet. The net advantages of hemp wool start right from the moment that the crops are grown. Turns out, hemp plants need very little water to grow, and they don't require pesticides or insecticides either. Crop yields are also insanely quick, typically from seed to plant ready for harvest in 90 to 120 days. Since it's easy to grow and harvest, it makes the potential for hemp insulation to be grown near you that much greater, reducing even further the embodied energy required to produce it, since it wouldn't be trucked across the country. Further to this, hemp actually acts as a sponge for CO2 during its growth cycle. So if you looked at your house as a whole, insulating with hemp wool would actually help bring down your home's net carbon footprint. For comparison, hemp wool's embodied energy footprint is 14 times smaller than spray foam. And let's not forget, it is a rapidly renewable material and it's recyclable at end of life, or it can even be used as compost. And that brings us to the second biggest advantage of hemp wool batts, which is their impact on the health side. Hemp batts are a plant-based, non-toxic, no VOCs, no chemical binders, and no off-gassing type of insulation. It's hypoallergenic, it's hygroscopic, and it's repellent to mold, pests, and insects. Hemp batts also permits workwear-free installation, which makes insulating a much safer job than ever before. It also holds a Class A fire rating thanks to its high silica content, although we did test this and it did smoke up a bit more than we would have liked compared to other batt products. Now, it's also vapor permeable, which means moisture can flow through it and regulate the flow of indoor and outdoor temperatures. Now, we couldn't find any real data points of how great it is for sound deadening, but we have heard that it is comparable to typical mineral wool products. And lastly, on the health side, and this is something that I noticed from working with it myself, is that hemp wool batts smell great. It has a very similar scent to fresh cut grass, and who doesn't love that? Now, it's actually a bit tough to argue against hemp batt insulation. This building material really does check almost all of the boxes. Maybe the biggest deterrent to using hemp batts, though, is actually its accessibility. It's not yet available at everyone's local hardware store. And for that, it does come at a higher cost than more traditional options. Now, on the money side of things, hemp wool batts are priced at about $1.35 to $3.10 per square foot for traditional wall assemblies, which is higher than mineral wool and slightly lower than sheep's wool. Now, another knock against hemp wool, if we're being super picky, is that performance is also ever so slightly lower than mineral wool, but it's right on par with other insulations like fiberglass and sheep's wool. Expect to get an R value of about R20 for a standard 2x6 stud wall cavity. Lastly, the only other thing we could really fault hemp batts for is part of the installation process. Now on that point, let's jump to the fun part. Let's take a look at what it's actually like installing hemp wool insulation. This is definitely a do-it-yourselfer friendly type of install. And well, similarly to sheep's wool, which we took a look at in a separate video, workwear isn't required for this material. There's no itch, no off-gassing. So like we did with the sheep's wool video, I got my trusty helpers to help install some of this stuff for this home theater project. Again, workwear-free insulation installs are something we can all feel really good about. I really like the feeling of working with natural materials and not having to worry about anyone's health in the process. Now, a couple things to note about the install. Hemp wool is a really dense product. It has a lot of bounce, and because it's made of these tough, intertwined fibers, you unfortunately can't just grab a utility knife to cut through this stuff like with more traditional insulation types, maybe like mineral wool. So you will need a saw, either a miter, reciprocating, table saw, or even a simple hand saw can all be used for hemp wool. Now the other thing of note is that because of its dense format, it really is a friction fit. And so keep in mind that hemp wool is not as forgiving with filling gaps or holes. Now it is a bit malleable, but it doesn't have that same flexibility as say sheep's wool or mineral wool batts. So you really want to make sure that your cuts are as accurate as possible, and like with most insulation types, it's usually better to measure long than measuring short. Usually adding an extra ½ inch to your cavity measurement will ensure that you get a snug fit. With wires and boxes or other obstacles, you're usually better off carving out a piece of the hemp wool batt to ensure the best fit. One more thing worth mentioning here is the look of hemp wool when it is installed. Looks isn't something that you really hear a lot about when talking about insulation, mostly because it gets buried behind drywall. But I mean, look at how clean this install looks. Compared to all other run-of-the-mill batts out there, hemp wool is a really good looking insulation product, thanks to that friction fit and dimensional stability. And like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't hurt that it smells great too. So to conclude, hemp wool is a novel insulation product that is ready for prime time in North America. And it has a lot going for it. It gets major points on the health side and on the planet side as well. Where it falls short though is on accessibility and price when comparing to other traditional materials. That said, it's only a matter of time before hemp wool really becomes a standardized product that everyone is using as new manufacturers sprout up and costs are driven down. It's amazing to see a material start gaining so much traction after years of having its primary resource shunned by so many. There are new uses for hemp being discovered seemingly every day. And so it's really exciting to see it used as a major part of the building envelope. And that, my friends, concludes our video for today. Did we miss anything? Or maybe you have some experience with hemp wool that you'd like to share. Please let us know in the comments below. And as always, find more sustainable home improvement tips and research at buildwithrise.com. Thanks guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. For more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe by clicking the button below, and also check out buildwithrise.com, the only place to turn any home improvement project into a sustainable one.